But I did want to touch on your college experiences a bit
Hmm.
because, I mean, you ended up going on to do podcasting and movie breakdowns and all kinds of shit. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering, like, what the fuck went on in college that made you get all up into these shenanigans later on, if you were involved in anything, and what the experience was like
Yeah.
in general.
My my I went to Towson University. Because of Tizzy's mom, who went to Towson University, I needed some guidance, and I was like a shitty student. I was in community college for 3.5 years, 4 years. I was almost in community college for 4 years. I was like really messing up. But I got my act together and I transferred to Towson. Um, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And one day I was in a uh, film class, and the guy said, "You talk too fucking much. You should do radio."
Ah!
It's like, what? He's like, "You talk entirely too much. Like, you should do radio. Like, you would be incredible at radio." So I went to Towson with a major in radio. In the first year that I got there, they transitioned the program because radio was dying. Like, you got to think like I graduated from high school in 2001. This was like 2004, 2005. 2004, radio was like as we knew it, as we knew
Mm.
radio. Like, it wasn't like always a determining factor of a hit anymore. They stopped my radio
Hold on. Can
major.
I just
And
ask a question? Bonnie made a great point in the chat. Everybody in that program must have had the best voices. Is that true?
yo,
Is like radio? Is that where you go for the Lydia's voice collection you're gonna
s-
get?
honestly, some of the more interesting voices, yeah, I heard going to college, like some incredible voices. There's this guy named Kieran Kitson Walter has one of the greatest voices I've ever heard in my life. Like, yeah, so I was there specifically for radio, which transitioned into basically music recording.
No
And when
shit.
I was at yeah, when I was in Towson, I had a radio show called the Tempo Tantrum. The Tempo Tantrum was like a 10-song playlist, and it circulated throughout the dorms in Towson University. And then I made an MP3 version and put that online. And this was
No shit.
2004, 2005. So like I loved podcasting. The idea of like so this was a mixed thing. So that was happening. I was also dating a girl that moved to Ghana. I needed a way to communicate with her. So the tempo tantrum was essentially the first 10 tempo tantrums were just
Oh.
essentially, yeah, I love you letters that could circulate to Ghana because they were MP3s. She would have to go to like this little restaurant and download the episodes. But my first foray at podcasting was essentially to talk to a girl in Ghana through MP3s.
Dude, that is like romantic as fuck.
I'm soft as shit. I'm soft as baby shit.
Get it. That's
To
the
be honest with you, man. Like, look, if you like
bro, soft
soft
is
as
the new
baby shit.
hard. I
Look,
don't know when
soft
that
as a
happened, but it was kids. But the young people have like, yo, if you're soft as shit, you're the new hard because it's brave to be soft in public.
yeah,
So it became
yeah.
like it's so not what we grew up with, but it's
Nah.
so advantageous to be soft and old today.
Everybody I know that's hard is broke. I don't know a person. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, man. Like, I don't know.
Holy shit, I love it.
Every super tough dude I know is broke or dead. And I think that it just requires so much energy. And this is like regardless of race, shape. These are people. All the hard people I know are dead, broke,
Shit,
or in
man. Like
jail.
like it's one of those things that like I get where you're coming from, but holy fuck, man. Like
It's
that
fucked
just
up,
slapped.
man.
It slaps, right? But like
Yeah, it's a hard thing to say. It's like and this is I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the hard people I know are serving time, gone, or sweeping somewhere. And there's nothing wrong with sweeping, by the way. Let me sweeping somewhere.
I hear what you're saying. I do think though that one of the more fascinating things I found talking to young people is that emotional vulnerability on the internet is an attractive trait to all young people across the spectrum, and that is
It
just like such a useful thing to be in this time.
it's useful, but you have to understand that the internet is forever.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you
but
gotta
it is
be
though. Like,
cognizant of what you're saying. You
yes,
shouldn't just be spewing all the nonsense, but like
yeah,
with a little finesse, you can use your story in a powerful way to like communicate vulnerability from a position
yeah.
of strength.
Like the through the wire that I should have did after I got in that car accident. God damn, man, I think about that a lot. I was like, I should have did something around that time.
Yeah, but
Fucking
like
slept.
on the other hand, your life looks like it's got a whole bunch of shit going on, and it's pretty not boring. So it all
Yeah,
worked out in
man.
a way where maybe doing that song might not have been the move, because it
Yeah,
worked out to
man.
be what it is today. But
I
still,
like the way you think, Holden.
I just try to. I used to be a negative Nilly, and then the more I embrace positivity and the silver lining approach to shit, and my new mantra is think like a 17-year-old. Pretend I'm broke as fuck when I face obstacles, because these
Mm,
17-year-olds are doing some shit. And
I like the way you think,
how
man.
can they do shit with no money? There's no way daddy's spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. No, they're just doing shit and figuring it
Yeah,
out. And they're okay. They'll get the $20 for the iPhone app and make the whole beat.
that's true.
So when you think about it from the position of this kid is just being resourceful, he doesn't plan on doing that forever. He's just being It's like fucking amazing. It's just like
Yeah,
wow, I'm inspired again by that shit. So I try to, yeah, but it took like months of getting over myself. That's a process. But
yeah,
then you do it, and it's all fun and games again.
hell
So
yeah, man.
still, you're writing podcast mixtapes off of your college radio experience, which is
Yeah,
exposing you to a lot of more curating, which we can tie back into your curating life early on. So that's fucking
mm,
fantastic that curating is already a repeating force in your world. So how does
right.
college radio play out? Is that something you do for the whole time, or is it like a little thing that fades out?
Yeah, I do it. I do the tempo tantrum all the way out of college. Like, I graduated from Towson. I still did it for quite some time. I didn't have like a huge following or anything, but like I loved doing it. I loved putting songs together. I loved the way that felt. Um, and so essentially my college life was like I worked at GameStop. I tested video games on and off for 4 years, 5 years, about 5 years. No, close to 6 years. And then
Did you work on anything cool, or are you not allowed to say? Oh, I guess now you're allowed to say whatever.
so we essentially did the universal Vivendi stuff. So like this is back then, so don't judge me. The Lord of the Rings original game before EA did it. The Thing, the Hulk that was based on the movie The Hulk, the first one with the Eric Bana version, Bruce Lee, I said Spyro, um bunch of like mobile games. But yeah, I had my name in credits. That was another thing, man. Like seeing your name in credits can change your shit. Like it gives you a perspective about things that you don't really feel until
Mm.
you see it. You're like, oh, my name can be associated with something of quality, or it could be forever on something, or
It's kind of like seeing your name in the newspaper for the first time.
yes. Hopefully not for anything bad.
No, I mean like a positive association,
Oh, right. Yeah,
like in
yeah.
like an award, or I got a public speaking contest and they wrote about it in the local paper. They just
Oh,
it's like
wow.
a footnote, but my name's in that shit and it's in my closet to this day.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, it was like yo, I could be in the paper for shit, for real,
Yeah.
not like fake
Yeah.
paper. I think it was like the Montreal Gazette, back when
Oh shit.
print mattered. That's something. But yo, think about that statement. That means kids is gonna grow up and never have the opportunity to be in the paper.
That's crazy, man.
I never thought about that before this
That's crazy
moment.
to think about. I think there's gonna be like as as much as it's getting away from us, I think there's just gonna be a resurgence of stuff like that. I think physical things are gonna resurge in like a couple years. because I think that that's like whenever remember when Polaroids were a thing for a little bit again? Like people are
Yeah,
like buying Polaroid cameras. I think physical things still matter. And sometimes that's a thing. That's a weird thing about young people. I love young people, but sometimes they don't see like long-term things. Like things don't last forever. Sometimes kids will talk about something like uh like this kid was clowning. I heard this kid clowning this lady because she was on Facebook, and he was at the time he was on like Vine, and Vine is dead now. Like you become that person now faster. You are washed now. If you like the service doesn't exist, and it's weird to think that like there's like a language of like this doesn't exist anymore. I don't deal with that anymore. That's old, or that's gonna happen. That still happens to young people. So imagine how like a person feels that's like 10 years removed from social media. They're just like, I don't want to.
yeah. I think it's gonna be like I think what you said is interesting just in general because the young people don't have the longevity per se, but they also lack the perspective of what it was like beforehand, which is another one. So a big one that really like fucked me up was there's like 17-year-olds, 20-year-olds. These kids have like numbers that I wish I could get with my music. I don't get them,
Right,
and
right,
I'm
right.
not into paying for ads. And they're just really doing social media right.
Yes,
I'm gonna be
man.
real
That
with you. They're doing it right. Like I don't know how to do it right the way they're doing it right because I need to hire somebody to think like that so that they can produce it for me because I can't produce the shit. I can think of
yeah,
the shit, but when we get to the actual making it part, I suck ass and I don't think I'm gonna get younger with it.
yeah, yeah.